I am Excellent, and this is my podcast. I'm here with Rob. Hello, Rob.
Hey, Tracy.
How's it going over there, Rob?
Well, Tracy, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst day ever, and 10 being the best day ever, I'm on about -6.
Well, I'm sorry about that, Rob. Um,
I'm in the gutter looking at the stars.
well, at least there's stars.
Just try to reach for them. Reach
Yep,
for something.
there's a goal. Okay, guys. What we're gonna do today is that Rob and I are having a discussion. I don't know now. It's been a minute, week and a half or something. And what we were talking about was I was telling him that I seem to have a recurring lesson in my life that just doesn't seem to get resolved. And it just comes up with a whole new person with the same lesson. And so I said to him, I said, I wonder if that's like a reincarnation. Is that possible to be like a reincarnation thing? Is this a lesson I'm supposed to be learning? And um, and I don't know it because I'm obviously failing miserably. And it's literally the same lesson about um, like self protection, um, being self aware, setting boundaries, and things like that. That I just I'm being hammered with over and over again. Like you didn't get it the first time. Reset. And so Rob and I thought, let's talk about that and see what other people think. Are we supposed to be learning a lesson?
Mm.
Which, you know, I, I know a lot of religions believe in reincarnation, right?
Yeah,
And
more so. Um, yeah, they do. It's sort of split now, isn't it? Between sort of the East and the West.
right.
Like in the East, things like Buddhism and
Mm-hmm.
Sikhism, um, they take a more um, analytical sort of philosophy, and sort of in the West, it's more maybe um, some Christian, some Christians, sorry, they do believe in reincarnation, but it's we're not as accepting, I don't think, in the West as they are in the East.
Right. Also, maybe religions who believe in reincarnation tend to be um, not as known for violence because they have to answer for what they do in the next life. I mean, you
It's a
never
good.
hear about, is it? I don't really feel like we hear about like Buddhists starting wars or
No, that's true.
Sikhs.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a very good point. It's a really good point. I'm just reading here um, that is Islam and Christians have its origins in the West. They've largely denied reincarnation. So
Yeah.
Islam and Christianity um, have started
Yeah.
to, yeah. It's, I'm surprised about Islam though, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would have thought that they would
Well, they're
because
based on the God of Abraham. So,
hmm, yeah,
as are we. So,
yeah,
um, it
yeah,
seems to me
just
that that makes sense.
hmm, Do you?
And go ahead.
What fascinates me is the fact that um, they can almost the evidence to support it is so amazing, which we'll get onto in a bit. I don't know how. I think science is starting to come round a little bit. There are some offshoots of scientists now who do believe in reincarnation and think there is some substance behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, mainstream science they just don't believe anything unless they can prove it
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Which obviously you can't get when you're trying to prove something like reincarnation, life after death, anything. Um, it's really, really difficult for them to try and get their head around it. What I do like though is when you have a doctor scientist who has, when they die and they come back,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they didn't believe in anything before they had their experience. They were completely, when you die, that's it, blah, blah, blah. They didn't believe in God or religion or anything. And then they
Mm-hmm.
have an experience and they come back and it's completely changed them. And they start going to church and start believing in God and that I find amazing. I really,
Mm-hmm.
really do. I really, really do.
Right. Um, I had that experience when I had surgery that
Yeah,
I felt was a near death experience.
I knew he was going to bring up.
I hadn't even thought about it until you started talking about this. And recently, I've been seeing more and more documentaries talking about reincarnation, and for people who haven't been here before, um, this is not a channel about religion, so go ahead and sit back down. Um, we just talk about, to me, this is sort of a paranormal um, topic because you can meet, like, when you have deja vu. Some people think that that's a memory from a previous life.
Yeah,
They think that reoccurring dreams could be memories from a previous life, or when you look at somebody and say, "Oh, they have like a baby, they have an old soul," which I told you the other day was my Josh. I mean,
mm.
he had an old grumpy soul,
And Keisha.
and yes, Keisha has an old soul. Yes, so I do know that, like, I was raised Christian, and that was like a no. There's no there's no reincarnation. Period. But when I had my near death experience thing in the documentaries I've been seeing lately, because I always heard about how, like you said, miraculous and peaceful, and you kind of see your life flash before you. You feel nothing but like surrounded by love. By the way, I don't know what my throat is doing right now, so please excuse me as I turn into a frog. I will get comments about it. Anyway, um, but mine wasn't like that. And I've seen more and more people talking about theirs. It wasn't like that. Because I think that, like, I think, I think maybe people think if theirs wasn't like that, they're going to hell. Like, I didn't get the big, beautiful welcoming, and I wasn't surrendered and loved. So maybe I'm going to hell. But there are more of us out there who had just a black room and could feel a presence or more than one presence, which is surprising me because I'd never heard of that before. So hearing those in some of the documentaries I've been listening to has been really interesting to me because that's exactly what happened to me. It wasn't it wasn't scary. I wasn't frightened. I had exactly the same thought process as I do now, um, which I feel like everybody who has had a near death experience doesn't seem to be like, and they weren't themselves. They were themselves experiencing this. They talk about, oh, I felt such peace and I did this and I did that. So their presence was about them. Um, but I was standing in a like office-sized bus stop. I don't know how to explain it. There was at least two beings sitting down next to me. Now it's pitch dark. I don't see anything. I don't. I didn't have vision, but I could feel them there, and I could feel like four would be like beings that were quote unquote like in charge, and I just knew. I knew that the people who were sitting down were waiting to go somewhere. They didn't feel like they were. Maybe it didn't feel like maybe they were aware that I was there, but I knew they were there. And then the four larger beings, I could hear them and talking to me, but not like there was no vocal speaking. I said, "Oh, I died. Oh, I died." Calmly. I wasn't worried. And then they told me they made it clear that I need to go have my heart looked at, which is ironic because um, I have a cardiologist appointment next week because of some stuff that went on after the whole COVID thing. But I thought that recently that's been coming back to me. That isn't that strange? That's exactly what we talked about. All I had was a vision of my anesthesiologist looking at me and saying, "You need to have your heart checked. You need to have your heart checked," which was just a conversation we had before I went back. And I thought, even then, I thought, that's all I got. I didn't see my grandparents. I didn't see my old pets. I saw this guy I met 5 minutes ago. I I definitely feel ripped off about that. And when I came out of anesthesia, I said to my husband, I had a, I was I had a past life experience and it sucked, which is totally my personality, right? Like I didn't lose me. So if there is a heaven and hell, I don't know how they're going to deal with me in heaven because I mean, if that's where I go, I better be, because I'm still going to be me. But that made me feel like that was really strange. I didn't know if I had believed really in it before, you know, because the scientists always say, oh, it's a chemical reaction in your brain. It's releasing these chemicals, and that's why everybody gets happy and stuff. And I thought, I didn't get happy. I got exactly what I would get. Something like just blah. They're like, she's not expecting this. Just give her the basic plan. Whatever's cheapest.
Yeah. But do you think that your experience, you think it was real, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was real. You
Yeah,
don't.
I was wrong.
Do you know people that just bear with me here because I'm going to go around the houses to try and explain this.
Okay.
Right. People who have an out of body experience and who die for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I don't know, 50, I don't know what the longest is, 15 minutes, say. and get brought back.
Yeah.
And they've come back differently. In some respects, that's like reincarnation.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right.
Because they die.
Yeah.
And they come back different. They come back changed. So maybe you do take on people. They say that people can have completely different personalities, like different foods, like different music, like different sports, like sport when they before they died they didn't like sport at all. Maybe they are taking on maybe it is a sort of a past life that sort of attaches to the person that's having the out of body experience. Maybe that is like reincarnation as well.
Right.
Is that too deep?
Well, I wonder if that would only happen if you actually lost brain activity for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
Because that's going to go really deep. Like, what is your soul? What makes us think? What do we hear in our head when we're thinking? What is that? That's not connected to our heart, right? It's connected to our brain. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, when we think, thinking is a weird. This is gonna sound so stupid. Okay, thinking is one of the weirdest things that humans do. We hear our voice in our head, and we have a conversation. Should I go to the store today? I don't know. It's raining. Yeah, but it's not supposed to rain later. Yeah, we'll see. Like, what? And that's normal. So, what is that? Is that what dies with us?
Did you ever see the program? This program was brilliant, and it was really old. The program, and the man who was the man that they were filming agreed to this. The bed was that he was on. Basically, it was like a big set of scales. Really, it could right down to the milligram or whatever. It could measure or tell you the weight. And this man had cancer, and they, I mean, it was all done in a sort of good way. It wasn't just always died. But when the man was he only had weeks to live, so he wasn't over a long period. When the man died, he lost some weight, and I can't. And the program is for now. This isn't how much weight he lost, but he lost. It was say 9 ounces or 10 ounces or something, and they couldn't explain it. They couldn't explain why he'd had this loss of weight. And a couple of maybe last week or so, I put some stuff on the groups. I don't know if you looked at it, Trace, but there was a couple of them. There were people who had just died, and it was on CCTV. It couldn't be seen by the naked eye. It was something leaving the body.
I saw it. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah, I saw that.
is that not the soul? And is that man? Was that not his soul that left his body? Because the argument was with the man is maybe when he died he lost fluid from his body.
Yeah, but they were measuring the bed.
Exactly, the bed was made so nothing everything had to stay on the bed basically.
Yeah.
And he still lost this 10 ounces, 11 ounces, or however much it was. I've tried to find the clip again on YouTube and I can't find it. It's really, really interesting, this program.
Interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, I saw the video of the something leaving the person as they took their last breath. You could see it leave. I showed it to my husband too. I don't know. Okay, but so what I'm gonna do here is define what reincarnation is. Okay.
Okay.
So reincarnation is a process of living through one lifetime after the next until incarnating. No, that's not right. Incarnating. Is that right? Is
Yeah.
no longer necessary due to your soul awakening to its infinite self. Well, I mean, this is kind of a foo-foo definition. Every soul is evolving through the process of reincarnation, and it's the law of karma, which is not a fact, by the way. This is this particular woman's opinion. Okay, so think about that. We are reincarnating. I make the joke all the time that, like, what was I in my previous life? Did I kick kittens? Did I pinch puppies? What did I do? Because I catch some shite all the time. So I just think, what on earth am I paying for? As a joke. But then I got thinking about it, like this particular situation that's happening in my life lately. Sorry, you guys. I know that sucks. That I'm just like talking around it, but it involves other people and it would bore you to death anyway. Um, I just got thinking, like, since I was in childhood, I've been dealing with the same type of person, emotionally, verbally, whatever they are to me, and around me. And then once if that person moves out of the way, then like somebody else comes up and they're like, batter up. And I apparently must always handle it the same way, which is um I guess more of a what's the word I'm looking for? It's I don't want to use the word weak because that is not describing myself. But it's just more of a help me, Rob. Think of my words.
I am trying to. What context are you trying to say?
Like I'm just passive. I'm a passive in the situation. Like
Right.
I'm somebody who's easy to forgive. Um, I'm I'm somebody who's easy to make excuses about. I can say, well, that happened because they had this going on in their life, or they took it out on me because they have this. And until you go too far, once you hit there's like a line in the sand. There's a line in the sand, and once you hit that line, then I no longer care if you exist.
I think you're
It's
too
just
kind.
so. So, what is the lesson I'm supposed to be learning in that? That I'm too kind to people? Because that seems like that's an interesting lesson to learn. Or is it something like I need to have a stronger uh, backbone, a stronger center that sets boundaries immediately in relationships? This is who I am. This is what I won't put up with. And if the first time it happens, you're out the door. because like I said, I eventually get to a place where I'm like, we are done. We're done. I no longer know you. I will never speak your name. And it is a really like a harsh cutoff. Like that's what it's like. Boom. I do not care about you anymore. But maybe if I set boundaries way before that, those kind of things wouldn't get to that point. You know, maybe it's the first time somebody did something that was emotionally or verbally harmful or abusive to me, that I would say, all right, that's enough. That won't ever happen again, or you'll be gone. Maybe that is the lesson I'm supposed to be learning, how to protect myself. I'm sorry, people, I am rambling on. I'm using Rob as my therapy.
It's, I think you're being a little bit hard on yourself. I think that you, I think that you are very empathetic to people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that maybe people take advantages of that sometimes.
Mm. Yes.
And but I wouldn't say that it's a lesson that you've got to learn or unlearn, as the case may be. I think that maybe we have past lives. It is we just have to, we make the best of what we've got, don't we?
Yeah, but we're supposed to learn a lesson, and I can tell you, in my life, it is very clear that I'm with the same type of person over and over and over and over and over again. Um, whether that be a relative, a friend, a neighbor, it doesn't even matter. It's just the same type of person who has no empathy. I am super empathetic, and I somehow manage to wind up with people who have no, not like my husband, but just in general, people who seem to have much less empathy, that I can't wrap my head around how you can be saying these things to me and not understand the damage you're doing. They just don't have that ability or something. Where then I'm the person who sees both sides of everything. Well, um, you know, that day she did have a hard time at work, and she wasn't feeling very well or whatever, and I just excuse it, and then I just keep getting deeper and deeper. So I can see that over and over in my life. Just what do I do about that? Now, what is the advantage to knowing about reincarnation? This gives you a greater understanding of your day-to-day problems and the people who are in your life. There we go. The people who are in my life. Um, so everybody look around. Probably everybody has somebody that their personality type has maybe always been in their life. Um, because okay, Siri's talking to me. Because they say that we are always reincarnated in our group pods. I'll come upon that in a second.
Oh,
Have the people I know been with me before? Absolutely. We reincarnate in groups.
I've
Souls you are
never
close
heard
to.
that.
Oh, I've always heard it my whole life. Souls you are close to in this lifetime may have been with you before, like it or not. They are there for a purpose, and you can uncover and understand your responsibility to each soul. If you honor the fact that those souls have been with you before, you can see what they need from you, which is a really interesting thing to look at. Um, I, I mean, maybe somebody that I was married to before is now my son. and I have to in this life. Maybe it's maybe my husband was my son. In this life, I have to heal them from that.
Mm-hmm.
Poor thing. Um, but I think it's interesting. Like we are. I wish that if it's true, I wish that we could know it. Like, although, have you ever? You know how they do people say they have fell in love at first sight. Have you ever felt like that?
Love at first sight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Literally hadn't even seen him before. I was hearing his voice as he was talking to somebody else, and something happened. I don't know. And I've have you met people that you all of a sudden like you just know that you're going to be close? Have you ever done that with
Mm,
anybody?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
have. I feel like that probably happened with you
One
because it was
person.
against all the odds that we were going to even become friends, let alone you know best friends.
Mm,
And I
yeah.
always felt comfortable with you. I don't feel comfortable with anybody. I don't talk to anybody about anything personal. I am a clam, and so are you.
Mm.
But we felt comfortable. And so, did we know each other in a past life?
Well, I agree with the majority of what you said, but how do you max that up though? I mean, I've watched lots of, like you probably watched lots of programs about past lives and reincarnation. I remember watching. It was a series that was on a couple of years ago, and it was about children who'd had past lives.
Yes.
And for instance, there was a little boy who could um, draw all these old planes, and he knew the names of the planes, and he knew his name. It wasn't he had this name that he used to say that he was, and they did some research, and there was a fighter pilot from the Second World War who died, and basically he even recognised this man's wife. He he knew everything. He knew everything.
Mhm.
This little boy, he was about 7 or 8. You know, now what life lessons he got to learn, or is it about?
Well, but he still has to grow up. We all have to start out as a child, so I think the life lessons start out immediately. If they involve, like, for instance, my parents, I think that my life lessons started darn near from the get go. I was
Mm,
always I al- well, my mother's personality was always going to like just hound me to death.
mm,
But maybe kids can see, and uh, my, all my kids could see things as kids. But my youngest son, he knew exactly where an old hospital had been. Said he saw dead people there. Feels a very strong attachment to some place. He only lived for like 4 years, so basically, he doesn't really remember it. It feels a very strong attachment and wants to live there. Um, to me, I couldn't care less if I ever saw the place I lived at when I was 4 years old. But he has a very strong attachment there. Did he live there before? I think that I've seen one where this little boy saw that he lived on a coast, and him and his mother, and is this the one you saw? That his father would fly planes, kind of buzz their house, and they would go out and wave at him. He was in France,
Yeah, I think so.
and
Yeah, it rings a bell. That rings a bell.
They found this house that's um, it's just a stone shell basically now, and he walked around and said, "This is my mother and father's room. This is my
Yeah, this is
sister's
my
rooms."
bedroom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that is. And the neighbors remembered, the family, and
yeah. You could
that's
describe everything, couldn't
yeah. See now, or the people who go into a coma and then come out speaking a completely different language. You know what? How you can't even explain that.
you? No.
I can. There's no way I can come out and fluently speak another language. But they come out and that's the only language they speak, and that's the only language they can understand. What is that? Science has a name for it, but I call BS on that. It's just not possible. If it wasn't there before, it's not there when I get back up, when I wake back up.
Mm.
Um, Here's another thing on the about the reincarnation. What can help me to remember my past lives? Watch what you are drawn to, which is particularly funny for people on our page. Serial murders? What? I don't know. There might be certain historical periods that interest you. Ancient Egypt, medieval times, the American Civil War, or you might love Japanese furniture, food, or clothing, but you are a white person. Let's just say you are a person living in Iowa. If you are strongly attracted or repelled by certain things, you most likely had a life in that time or place. Well, I'm strongly pulled towards New Orleans.
Mm. Yeah.
I'm also very, very empathetic to feelings of Civil War battlefields or the Alamo. I can feel like the fear to the point
Hmm.
where it makes me nauseous.
Yeah. I
Yeah, go
have
ahead.
this. I'm going to talk to you about it. I don't know if it's deja vu. I don't know what it is, but I have these feelings that I've. I have. It's a memory. It, it's a memory which provokes a feeling, and I just don't know where. I don't know, and I have to ask myself: Have I been to this place?
Mhm.
Have I? Have I watched it on the TV? How do I know this place? And it can only be maybe it is a past life experience,
Mhm. Yeah,
or I'm losing my mind.
I don't think you are. Yeah, I have a reoccurring dream, as people who have been here for a long time know, that I am um, of Asian, some sort of Asian descent, and I'm standing on a beach with my mother. I'm a child, two, two probably, and I'm holding her hand. I can see what she's wearing, which is like a kind of like a just a linen kind of a dress, like an underdress, something you wear to under your clothes, like a slip, or maybe even to bed. Um, and there's about 8 of us standing on the beach, in pairs mostly, and there's a tsunami coming, and I feel myself get hit with the weight of the waves, and then I die. And so to this day, um, we get tornado warnings, um, but the sound of that used to be the air raid warnings, and you know, the sound of that just strikes fear in me, and I feel like maybe it was because there was a warning like that, like maybe that was going off as we were standing on the beach. But I can feel the weight of it. And I also had a dream once where I felt myself get shot in the head. I felt what it felt like. And here's what's really weird. So what it felt like was like, you know, a thump. There wasn't any pain. It was just a thump. And and I woke up and I felt relieved that there wasn't pain if I got shot in the head. What? I was just gonna feel like a thump. Okay. Okay. That was interesting. Thanks for that.
Oh dear me, Trace.
I know, I'm a weirdo. I can't help it. Oh, you're gonna like this one. Do negative situations in this life have to do with a lack of forgiveness in a past life? Are you ready? Capital letters ALL. All negative situations in the present have to do with unresolved past life issues. So there you go. I guess if hello, I have an idea. I guess if we are reincarnated with the same people, we're gonna bring the same BS with us. We just throw it over our back and we're like, we unpack it when we get to the next life. That's a frightening idea.
It's funny because it says here that reincarnation is derived from Latin that literally means to take on the flesh again.
Mm-hmm.
Take on flesh again. Well, there you go. What exactly is reincarnation? It simply means that we leave one life and go to another. Simple.
Well, you know, I'm afraid that I'm gonna get reincarnated in some. I was telling you this the other day. Some post-apocalyptic world, like what's that movie with Mel Gibson?
Mad Max.
Yeah, like Mad Max. I'm gonna be like, oh shit, I like the '80s a lot better. After this, I don't want to be reincarnated. This is as far as I want to go. So, do you think
Listen
anybody
to
cares
this,
about that?
Trace. Listen
Okay.
to this. The soul may take the form of human, animal, or plant, depending on the moral quality of the previous life actions. Oh dear.
See, that's why I think it's Buddhists who believe you can't kill anything. Flies, spiders, slugs, because that'll come back to you. I'm willing to take it for a spider though, because they were probably shit in a previous life if they're a spider in this one. I'm just saying. Slugs? I mean, come on. What were
A,
you in a previous life if you're a slug in this one?
a biochemist or doctor would tell you that individual cells in the body have a limited lifespan, from days to weeks and a few years. Using sophisticated carbon 14 dating methods, Dr. Frischen and his team of stem cell researchers in the Something Institute in Stockholm, Sweden, found that the average age of a cell in the adult body would be between 7 and 10 years.
Ooh,
Our bodily cells are replaced regularly.
interesting.
So basically, what he's saying is, once we're dead, we're dead.
Yeah. You know, we've talked about this before. If I if I felt like if this is it, once I'm dead, I'm dead. I don't know how that. Okay, let me try and figure out how to say this in a PC sort of a way.
Oh dear. Here we go. Excuse me. Here
Necromancy. No. I was. How do you? What motivation is there for you to not just quit one day? To say I can't take it anymore. What's the motivation? Because for a lot of people, motivation is they think it's a sin to just check out. But if you don't have that fear, I don't have that fear. I don't have that fear. But um, if you just have like this is it. You've done all you've done. This is as big as you get. This is as good as it gets. What's there to stop more people from just calling it a day?
That's a difficult question. Um, don't know. It's a question I've asked myself a lot, obviously.
If you guys, if anybody down here is an atheist, can you answer that question? Like, have you ever been to a point where you just didn't want to wake up again? And if you're an atheist and there's nothing more to look forward to, or nothing, just nothing, it's just emptiness, then what stops a person from just not being afraid to do something like that? I don't know. See, I don't know. Do I need to know all the past life details in order to heal karma? No. It's enough to recognize your intense emotions and reactions to a particular person or situation and start your forgiveness work right then. Wait a minute, who am I forgiving, me or them?
I think you're forgiving. So I don't want to go too religious, so it's difficult to answer this question that you've asked. Maybe if we are not forgiving, maybe reincarnation is just a learning curve,
Uh,
and
if
we
we're
get,
not a forgiving person, you mean?
yeah,
Oy.
and
I get really
maybe,
tired of always being the forgiving person.
well, maybe this is you've learned your lesson now, you know?
Maybe.
Maybe your lesson's been learned. Maybe when you pass away, you know, well, we've got a deal, me and Tracy. Whichever one of us dies first is going to let the other one know that there's life after death.
Yes.
So after that,
After that, yeah.
then
Yeah, I
maybe
have
you're
that
off.
booked.
Yeah, maybe you'll go off to somewhere Nice
where
and
the puppies
peaceful.
run.
Yeah.
The puppy farm.
Yeah.
Where all my dogs went when they was little. When oh yes. Or actually, my animals always went to go live with the coyotes. I haven't seen a cat for a while. You know what? I think Sylvia went to go live with the coyotes.
Mm.
All right. Well, is it true? I like this part. Is it true that I bring talents and abilities from one lifetime to the next? Yes. As
Yeah.
each life has passed, you have made choices as to what skills and talents you wanted to develop. You went into each lifetime working on these abilities. At the end of each life, you evaluated your life and made new situations for your next lifetime. I did to assist you in awakening the truth of your being. I don't know about that bullshit, but there are people who just step foot on a surfboard and they know how to do that, or give them a brush. Little tiny children, you give them a brush and some paint, and they're like artists.
Van Gogh.
Yeah, and yeah. So I think that is probably true. We see our musical prodigies at the age of 3, and they
Yeah.
know how to play the violin like they were born with in their hand.
Like
You
Alicia
know,
Keys, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So I think that is because how do you explain a child prodigy who's just literally practically born knowing a musical instrument? Or
Yeah, they don't even have to learn it. They can just play it. How do
yeah,
people do that? Oh, I can't play the piano. I don't know how to play the piano, but I can just play it by ear, and
yeah,
they can just play it.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah. So if you think
Not
about that,
fair.
I think it's not fair. Well, they did have to die to be able to do that, though, Rob.
Okay.
So it was a trade-off. You know, I don't. I was. I don't know that I was born with a particular skill.
I always wonder if you can come back as someone in the past.
Well, wouldn't they come back as them?
No, I'd like to come back as maybe Elvis or something.
But Elvis is dead. I mean, I mean, then it would still be dead. Do you think that you have a talent were that you might have because of a previous life?
um, I'm an
Have you always been able to
artist.
draw? Yeah.
Well, I'm an artist, but a piss artist. You don't know what that means, do you? In America,
No.
it means you drink a lot.
Oh.
Not that I'm saying that I drink a lot, but I probably drink too much.
I I uh I do art.
Tracy is very good at art. Tracy is very, 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 very good at art. Tracy's very humble about how good she's at art.
Thank you. I uh I enjoy it very much. Maybe I did art in a previous life. You
Do you ever
never
get the
know.
urge to cut your hair off?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes. Just mostly though, so I can just stop hearing people. But and I was like, oh, that's not gonna work. You're still gonna hear them. Let's see. If there's anything else on this, uh, uh, yeah, just to learn more about your soul and What are your desires do you still have in this life? What areas of your life do you feel you want to do better? Who do you have left to forgive? Who do you want to love more? I don't understand about the forgiveness thing. The person that keeps the personality type that I keep encountering. Am I supposed to forgive that? Because I do that all the time.
What do you think about this? Do you think that if two people fall in love
Yeah.
and it is absolute love, I, I don't know, empathetic love and love, proper love,
Yeah.
do you think that they could be reincarnated together again and meet up?
Oh, yeah. I think that's what love at first sight is.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a solid opinion about it, but I think that if reincarnation exists, then that's probably what love at first sight is. That you already feel comfortable with somebody, you already feel like you know them, you're already at ease. There's already that attraction. I think I've only had that one time in my life. Guess what? Didn't work.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Yep.
All right, Rob. I think we've just probably brought more questions forward than answers.
Yeah, probably.
I enjoyed this though.
Yeah. Can I just say, please leave some comments.
Yes.
We want to hear what you think. We
Yes.
want to know, you know, what you think about this subject.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
Let's have some interaction about it.
yeah. And don't forget, we need you to make sure you like this video
Yeah.
and
Yes,
subscribe.
please. Yes, please. And then you'll be notified of my content when it goes up. And part
Yeah.
3 of my 657 Boulevard, the Watcher thing is coming up soon. And that is, have you been listening to that, Rob?
I listened to a bit of the first one, but I haven't had time over with the girls. And
The fact that somebody is could watch you and then like uh torture you about it. And yeah, they only own the house for like 3 days before this started happening to them. Just a quick sum up of it. They got a letter said, "Thanks for bringing young blood into the house again. I've been watching the house. My father watched the house. My grandfather watched the house, and and they just like said a lot of traffic goes by your house every day. I could be one of those. A lot of look out your windows. See how many windows you can see. I could be staring back at one of those. I know your daughter's names and calling them by their nicknames and weirdest. That's scary to me. That stuff is scary.
just a minute, Chase. Hey
Oh, it's
Google,
right. Oh, you know
stop.
what that is? I thought it was Grace.
Sorry, I don't understand.
Technology.
That's great. Anyway, so if you guys haven't seen that or listened to that yet, go ahead and listen to it because part 3 is coming up, and it's just the weirdest experience. So, all right, you guys, thank you for being here.
Yep.
Thank
Well,
you,
stay
Rob.
safe and look after each other, and we'll see you next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.